With the new generation of consoles on the horizon, soon there'll be even more ways for you to play video games, especially if you have a spare $700 lying around. But it's not just PCs and consoles that can play video games. Throughout the history of the medium, enterprising developers with lots of time on their hands have dedicated themselves to getting video games to run on things you wouldn't expect video games to run on, with what I would charitably call mixed results. Here are 7 of our favourites. Tetris is one of the most popular video games of all time, selling over 35 million copies on the Nintendo Game Boy alone. If you're watching this video, you've definitely played it and are probably humming the theme to yourself right now. Due to its widespread popularity, versions of Tetris have appeared on pretty much every gaming system you can think of, but in 2012, Tetris appeared on a building, the Green Building on the campus of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. As part of an official MIT hacking challenge, students used 153 wirelessly controlled color-changing lights to transform the 21-story building into a giant game of Tetris controlled via a joystick mounted on a podium in the courtyard out front. Although, as you can see from the footage, while the MIT students were brainy enough to be able to program this whole thing to work properly, they're not actually very good at Tetris.
That was kind of screwing right there. David! Oh!
And this is for sure the most visible way to be bad at Tetris in the history of Tetris. My advice, don't give them a hard time. These are the people who will be building death rays in 10 years' time. Electric cars are great, good for the environment, and something we're all going to have to use in the future, even if it does mean having to give even more money to Elon Musk that he'll only spend on vape pens or something. Thankfully, you can sweeten that bitter pill a little with the fact that you can now play games on Tesla cars thanks to the addition of something called the Tesla Arcade. Pick of the bunch is Studio MDHR's run-and-gun action game Cuphead, which can be played by plugging a USB controller into, I remind you, your car, making this surely the most expensive way of playing a game that currently costs £16.74 on Xbox. It's just the game's first area that's available, and also worth noting is the fact that you can only play the game while parked or charging, just so you don't get the sudden urge to try and beat the route pack while doing 70 on the motorway. Although to be fair, the sheer terror of attempting to do that might provide me with the focus I need to beat that psychic carrot. The piano and id Software's Doom are pretty much opposites on account of how one is an instrument on which you can create beautiful music, and the other is a video game in which you can create horrible corpses. In 2013, however, a group of indie developers brought the two together with the Doom Piano, which is, as the name suggests, an upright piano that's been modified so you can play Doom on it. Using a combination of copper tape and keyboard encoders so that you can control it, and a monitor mounted to the music stand so you can see what you're doing, the Doom Piano works by you hitting different keys on the keyboard to move, open doors, and fire your weapons. Which is very ingenious and fun, but sort of the worst of both worlds, because if you want to play an actual piece of music on the piano, your Doom guy is going to be walking into walls, shooting at nothing, and spinning around in circles, and if you want to control Doom properly, the music you're going to be making is going to sound like, well, like this. So, how many can I put you down for? Anyone? The touch bar, introduced to MacBook Pros in 2016, is a thin strip of touchscreen above the keyboard that serves the important function of adding $300 to the laptop's retail price. If you thought that the screen was too small to run games on though, think again, as there is in fact a playable version of Pac-Man available for the Apple Touch Bar. The brainchild of developer Henry Franks, pac-bar is the classic Pac-Man experience you know and love, just a little bit smaller and, it must be said, considerably easier. That's because there's only one ghost and a single line of dots and warp tunnels that let you reappear on the other side of the maze if you need to avoid your spectral foe. Come on, it was either this or the world's shortest, most boring game of Snake.
You have to walk pretty hard to make it go.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
You're going! You're walking! You're walking in the game and you're walking in real life! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going!
Oh! I'm running.
Faster, bro. You got this. Go faster.
My thighs.
I'm not sure about a lot of things when it comes to Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, like what the plot is, why those babies are in jars, or why I'm talking to a hologram of Edgar Wright, but one thing I am sure of is that it contains a lot of walking. In the game, Norman Reedus' character, Sam Porter Bridges, has to walk across America to set up some kind of special internet or whatever, but it was this walking that inspired YouTuber and electrical engineer Alan Pan to create the ultimate walking simulator using Death Stranding and a broken treadmill that he found in an alley. Figuring out how the treadmill works, Pan was then able to take the signals the treadmill uses to know how far someone has jogged and send them to a PS4 controller so that walking on the treadmill would make Norman Reedus walk in the game, while jogging on the treadmill would make him run, sometimes off a cliff because treadmill controllers are still not an exact science.
Yeah! Oh, all right, stop walking, stop walking. Oh, God, oh, the humanity, no, Jesus, no, stop falling.
If you want to know more about Pan's experiment, check out the full video by clicking the eye in the top right, and maybe learn how to do it yourself, because if you're going to go through 50 hours of Kojima-directed walking from cutscene to cutscene, you should at least get your steps in at the same time.
Am I sweating? Oh my God, look at that, this is real. This is all...
An oscilloscope is a piece of electronic test equipment that graphically displays signal voltages and also, more importantly for the purposes of this video, can run Quake now thanks to the extraordinary efforts of programmer Pekka Verninen. In order to make a version of Quake that an oscilloscope could understand, Verninen had to generate audio from the game's scene geometry, which the oscilloscope could read and translate into something that is definitely recognizable as Quake, even if it does look like you're playing it inside the Matrix. You probably wouldn't want to play the whole game like this, but it's a fascinating experiment and a nice change to have Quake show up somewhere weird, as opposed to Doom, which seriously could have been every single entry on this list. That game is on everything, even printers.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
You're level 57 and see a tall snowy mountain.
Climb it.
Skyrim has, I can confidently state, been re-released 700 times on 800 different platforms, but the weirdest version of Skyrim out there has to be the version released for Amazon Echo devices in 2018. Announced at Bethesda's E3 conference in a trailer featuring Keegan-Michael Key, many people initially thought it was a joke on account of the tone of the trailer and, you know, the entire concept.
I drink a health potion.
You are out of health potions.
How many wheels of cheese do I have left?
473.
Okay, I eat all the cheese. I eat all of the cheese.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
Okay, here's Skyrim Very Special Edition.
It turns out, however, that Skyrim Very Special Edition is absolutely a real thing that exists and is available for free.
Will you lend your spell and steal to his cause?
Yes.
Controlled entirely with your voice, Skyrim Very Special Edition plays out more like a single-player game of D&D, with Alexa acting as your dungeon master, describing things to you as you venture into towns, dungeons and castles, and fight deadly enemies like crabs.
A mud crab scuttles towards
First
you.
Roda.
I didn't catch that.
First Roda.
I didn't quite catch that.
First Roda.
Seeing how this turned out to be real, I guess all the other versions of Skyrim in that trailer that I thought were a joke must be real too, which means I'm gonna need a new fridge.
Oh, that's cool.
Those were some of the weirdest things that people have ever played video games on, not including the Nintendo Wii U. Got any others? And are they all Tetris and Doom? Because seriously, people put those games on everything. Regardless, leave them in the comments below and like and subscribe for more videos like this from Outside Xbox. Thanks for watching.